Welcome. We're in the TechCrunch studio. I'm Semil Shah, and I'm here with Danny Trinh, 21-year-old product designer from Path. Danny, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Semil.
So what is going on in your world?
It's a beautiful Friday. Actually, it's horrible. It's Friday today. I mean, it's just raining outside, real cold, but it's real fun wrapping up a really big week at Path. Real excited for the weekend.
So I want to know the first thing. You obviously have a lot of experience relative to your age. How did you first get into designing products, and sort of what motivated you to leave North Carolina, come here, and enter this world?
Yeah. So design started as an escape for me. Like, I started in high school, obviously, and I was raised in one of those really intense, like academically competitive environments, where it's like all the full AP, IP course loads, and you got to have all the amazing stuff that gets you in the Ivy League. I was just a really big fan of the web. Like, I was one of those weird kids that always stayed inside. To this day, I don't have a driver's license.
Oh.
I would just see a lot of really cool stuff on the web. In particular, like, I saw Daniel Burka do that big dig V3 redesign many years back, and it just really inspired me because I'm just a big fan. I love seeing really cool work. And so I gave it a shot. Like, you don't need anyone's permission to install Photoshop, and that's how I got started. Right. And I quickly met up.
And so you left college and you came to Dig.
Yeah, so actually, no. A week after I graduated high school, I moved to San Francisco. So 1 week, 17 at home with mom, doing my laundry, eating pizza, playing Halo 3 until 2 a.m. Next week, I'm alone in San Francisco.
And what did she say?
She's like, Danny, what's going on? And so it was just an internship, supposed to be just an internship until I'd go to UNC. And I ended up deferring that for a year to become a full designer there.
Okay.
And then I went back to UNC for a year while still remote at Dig, and then I came out here.
And did you find yourself in that year thinking, I should be back there?
Oh yeah, so I was coming out here plenty for Dig. But yeah, I felt like, college has its own set of experiences, right? Like, a lot of fun. But yeah, I found like I was just like wasting cycles because, like, San Francisco is the best place to learn. There's no better place to learn how to build great products with amazing people than San Francisco. And so that's what came out here. Got it.
And then just quickly, you joined Path in late of 2010?
October 2010.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So can you briefly explain a little bit the transition from Dig to Path?
Yeah. So I've had the really good fortune of having some incredible mentors, like from both Dig and eventually Path. And one of them is Matt Van Horn. He runs business at Path, and he was at Dig before. And so the transition was, Van Horn reached out and he said, Path starting up, it's this amazing thing, come by, meet the guys. And I went in and I met Dave and Dustin, who were then, and they still are, the founders of Path. And I just had this incredible meeting with Dustin. Dustin is both an amazing developer and an amazing designer. So that kind of makes him a Renaissance man, if you
Sure.
will. I just saw him, and I met him, and I just was like, yes. Like, if the goal, like, I'm a big fan, right? And if your goal to get better is to surround yourself with incredibly talented and smarter people than you, Dustin sold it for me, and so that's why I went to Path.
Right. So tell us a little bit about what it's like to be 21 years old. You already have this experience at Dig. Now you're at this really hot startup. What's it like, passing on college? You went back for a little bit. Now you're here.
Yeah.
As a full adult in San Francisco, in the middle of the tech scene.
Yeah.
So what's it like?
Yeah, the thing is, I've set my 18th through 21st birthdays in San Francisco, and I'll say that if you're young in tech and SF, there's really two pieces, right? There's the human side of being a 17-year-old male in San Francisco by yourself, which is pretty scary. And there's the other where you're in SF, like the capital of the web, right? Like, there's no better place, right? And so if you view spending those 4 years out here as like the best school to learn how to build really good products, your tuition is pretty much the human side, like the human side of being a young kid, a young male.
So let's talk about that in steps. So you're almost viewing yourself here and in the jobs that you're in and the career that you've chosen as kind of your schooling right now.
Yeah.
And so the tuition, you're saying, the cost of that, or some of the drawbacks, being young. So let's talk about those if you want to share something.
Yeah, so I mean, think about it. Like, the opportunity cost is college, right? And college is a great place to find out who you are, right? And I'm sure my maturity will forever be stunted by having grown up out here, because I think about, like, some of my best friends in life right now are incredibly old, like profoundly older than me, right?
Yeah.
They have very different worldviews than I do. And I've learned a great deal from that. But it's one of those things where you do pay that. Like, the reality is, it's impossible to find girls my age out here. Fact. Anyways.
Oh, sounds like you're available.
Yeah.
So in terms of the benefits, what do you, like, you're in school and you're learning, what is it that makes it that much infinitely better for you, than what you were going through in college and the product cycles and all of that?
So I'd say deep down, I'm a fan. Like, there are rock stars and there are ninjas and then there are fans.
Yeah.
And I'm a fan. Like, being the 17-year-old intern, if there's a food chain in our industry, is the lowest, the bottom place.
So what are you a fan of? What gets you going?
I'm a fan of great design. I'm a fan of great products. I'm a fan of great people, insanely talented people, right? Like, there's nothing that makes me more excited than to see something really cool, right? And that's kind of why being at Path is so amazing, right? Because, like, as a fan, I work alongside some truly incredible people, right? Like, Mallory, I call him Maldog. He was on the original iOS team, worked on the camera and settings. Daniel Davis, I worked on Apple TV. There's a guy, the web engineer, one of the best web engineers I've ever worked with. He's Rafiq. He's only 2 years older than me, but he has like immaculate taste. Like, he has Vitsui shelving, the Dieter Rams shelving, like, in his place. And anyways, like, as a fan, when you're surrounded by these people, and Dave and Dustin, it is so inspirational, right? Like, it's just, you feel blessed.
Let's talk about in a mobile construct design.
Okay.
What do you think is more important, the aesthetic or the functionality?
So I think good design is as little design as possible, right? And I think at the end of the day, aesthetic is very important, but the most important thing is the product itself. What does the product say to the user, right? I think that's something that everyone struggles with. All designers, even amazing ones, struggle with. You have to work through that, simplifying basically, and editing. Yeah.
And is it something that you've developed your own design sense by following other companies or designers out there? And if so, who are they?
Yeah, so first off, there's so many inspirational designers.
Sure, but which ones come to mind to you, like, right off the bat, that you've drawn personal inspiration?
Oh, Dieter Rams, for sure. Dieter Rams is the godfather. Like, have you seen his exhibit down by SF MoMA?
I haven't.
It's pretty incredible. So, Dieter Rams is like, there are a ton of Apple products. Like, Johnny Ive refers to a lot of his work. But Dieter Rams, if you don't know, he's older guy. He ran Braun's design team, and there's just a lot about him, both his work and how he ran Braun. At Braun, they really believed in a really tight parity between designers and engineers, because that leads to a better product. And that's something we have at Path, is like, everyone you work with has to have great taste, right? And that's just one of the guys I really look up to, and that's, I think, one of the things that we try to follow at Path.
And so going back to the time at Path now, what are you looking at over the next year in terms of what you want to do and what you're looking to do at Path, to the extent you can share?
To learn as much as possible. I come into that office every day, and I look around and I see, seriously, some of the most talented people you can possibly find in this industry, right? And it blows my mind that at 21, to any degree, they consider me a peer, or that they give me any form of respect. Like, I haven't lost that mentality of being like the 17-year-old intern who's just happy to be here.
Right. What would you say to other people who are thinking about making the move, or whether they come to San Francisco or not, or looking to just say, okay, I have this passion in technology or design or engineering, and maybe some people around me are saying no, or a lot of things are saying no, but
I'd say, in particular, if you're into creative work, it's just don't stop. Right? Like, the thing about when you get started in anything creative is the stuff that you put out's not going to be so good. But it's not good, right? Because you got into it because you have good taste, right? And I think that's the difference between the people that make it and the people that don't, are the ones that keep pushing, past all the frustration, past all the people saying no. Another thing I think is really big is you got to find a mentor. Like, I've been blessed with some incredible mentors who've guided me. Otherwise, I'd be a clueless kid, no idea what he's doing. Like, at Dig, I had Daniel Burka, and at Path, I have Dave and Dustin, and Matt Van Horn, just about everyone that works there. You have to find mentors. Like, they're the people that'll guide you. Think about it like school. Like if this is the alternative school, you got to
Right.
find professors,
Right.
or else you're just
Absolutely. So
You're
that's
just
the
partying.
construct.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So the final question is just curious, do you ever think at some point in the future, 5, 10 years from now, you're going to start your own thing? Is that something you've thought about?
hopefully. But I think at this point, I just view myself as getting ready, right? I think there's so much that goes into building a company, like just watching over Dave. Like Dave does so much incredible stuff that I had no idea about. I think there's so much that goes into running and building a true company and a team that really works together, right? Like success out here is not one person, right? Like if you just have a good designer, that doesn't make you a successful company, right? It's a team sport. And I think that's the thing I'm learning at Path is you really need to assemble and find like incredible people that work together. And yeah, that's that. And so I see in the next 5 to 10 years, I hope I figure it out. I figure out Dave and Dustin's secret sauce. And maybe one day when I'm an old man, I can figure it out too.
That's great, Danny. We'll be watching. Thanks so much for coming.
Thanks, Semil.
All right.